Afternoon, guys. Hope you're going well. Yeah, a bit of an update of what's going on. We're just over here at the dairy block. Yeah, we've got the old tractor with a pump here. We're just trying to tidy this water up. If you've been watching on the last couple, we had a channel blowout over there, and yeah, it sort of flooded part of this paddock. So yeah, we've just got this pump here that goes on the 3-point linkage of the tractor, and yeah, we've just got an old channel here that's disused. Yeah, and we're just dumping it over the bank, and yeah, just to try and get it to dry out a bit. It's quite still a bit of sheet water there, but we are getting the bulk of it. So I've just come over here. It's about, what is it, really 5:30. Just come over to shut it off before dark. Bit of an update yesterday. I kept forgetting to take the GoPro with me, which was a bit of a bugger, but anyway. So we got the vetch sown and clover. We've had about 12 mil of rain from early this morning, and it's sort of starting to clear up again now. You can sort of see the clouds are starting to break over there in the west. Yeah, so I pushed through last night. I think I crawled into bed about 4 AM, so I was a little bit weary today, so I've just had a bit of a snooze this afternoon, and it's been too wet to do much anyway. Brendan did a bit this morning and he knocked off, and then Tony's just been here doing a few jobs on the air seeder and a few other bits and pieces. Yeah, so the guys got the air seeder shifted here this morning, so yeah, just need to get it cleaned out, and yeah, we'll have a bit of a quick drive around here and just see. We need to make a bit of a decision on canola varieties. I touched on it on the last one a bit. We've got more rain forecast at the weekend, which is only a couple of days away. So we just need to, obviously this block here is going to be too wet, but what we do with our grazing stuff, and I need to have a look and just see the stuff that we've started to pre-water, the ground here that we pre-watered, how wet it is. I think it's going to be a bit wet, so whether we plant just a couple of blocks of the grazing canola, I don't know. Yeah, I'll have a speak to our agronomist in the morning and see what he reckons. But anyway, we'll get this tractor shut off, and we'll have a quick drive around before it gets dark. Yeah, so this is some of the country we pre-irrigated. It's actually sort of country is pretty heavy clay here, so the water's going to pool a little bit, but it's actually not as wet as what I thought it would have been. But yeah, I don't know. You can see the water there. It's not ideal. We're probably going to make a mess if you came in here with the air seeder. So it's a bit of a conundrum, unfortunately. Yeah, because we get more rain at the weekend, this stuff's not gonna dry out. Whether we go away from the grazing sort of side of things at all. We do have, it's probably about 25 hectares here. One of the blocks we didn't get to water, or 20 hectares, and then there's a couple other bays here we didn't get to water. So whether we just sow that, you're not sure. Fun and games. You sort of, as I said before, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, a little bit. And this is the risk with pre-watering. You then get a follow-up rain, and then it gets too wet. And look, the clock is against us a little bit with the grazing stuff. Yeah, it's sort of early you can get it in because it's about a month later than your main season varieties. Yeah, it's at the back end at harvest time. You know, we've done it the last couple of years. We've been windrowing canola while we're harvesting canola. So it puts a bit of pressure on the job, but some of it's not too bad. Like this, yeah, if it didn't rain by Monday, well, by the weekend, we'd get a crack at this. Yeah, so we'll just have to maybe under the agronomist in the morning, and yeah, see how we go. A couple other things, we're having trouble with the air seeder yesterday. We think the monitor in that runs the air seeder. Our air seeder's electric drive, so it's got two little electric motors that run the metering system on the boxes. You can also have ground-driven ones that are driven off the wheel on the cart, but ours are electric. And there's a gremlin in that screen somewhere. It's just, we had a bit of a balls up yesterday where the rate of vetch was going on twice as heavy as what it should have been. So yeah, that was a bit of a stuff up, and yeah, it's throwing errors when it shouldn't be. There's not actually, it's telling us that there's stuff wrong, but there's not actually stuff wrong. So we're thinking, and it has given us trouble last year as well, so we're thinking it might be on the way out. So we've actually ordered a kit to convert it to Isobus, about $6,000. But we don't spend a lot of money year on year, not like the header on the air seeder. So, and we'll probably, what we do with that bar going forward, but we'll probably have that cart for a while, so I'm not sort of too stressed about it. Anyway, so we'll essentially do away with the air seeder monitor, and the Isobus will plug in, and we'll run it through the armrest screen on the Fendt tractor. So all the stuff will come up on that. So that'll be one less screen in the cabin, and also we can, on our headland management, we'll be able to control the turning it on and off through the headland management, which will make it a bit easier for the boys to drive and myself to drive. So anyway, that's about today done. We'll catch you in the morning. Morning. Yeah, just out here doing Meals on Wheels again for the girls. Yeah, they're all happy enough. Bit of a foggy sort of morning. Yeah, plenty of lambs starting to get around, which is good, and they're growing well. It's been pretty good lambing weather again. One thing we've had the last 2 or 3 years, probably 4 years, is sort of mild autumns. So yeah, it's perfect for lambing. But yeah, we're starting to get a few on the ground now, and they're running around. Probably can't see, there's a group on the other side of the fence there tearing up and down the fence line, having a bit of fun. So yeah, no, it's all going to plan at the moment. But yeah, I just had to run Brendan out to the back farm here, and he's got a little bit of multi-disking to finish off out here, and a couple of bog marks from harvest just to fill in. And then yeah, he'll take the little Fendt and the multi-disc home. Yeah, and then we've got a bit of country at home that we started working up the other day, that just to sow some lucerne in, and yeah, work a bit of lime in. Yeah, so he's gonna probably finish doing that. Yeah, Tony's just mucking around with the air seeder, and yeah, I've still got to get in touch with the aggro this morning, and just have a yarn to him. I reckon I had a bit of a look on Google Earth this morning, and I reckon there's about 70 hectares over on that dairy block that we were looking, that I was just showing you there earlier on the video, that we could plant. So whether I'll have a yarn about to the aggro about the length of it, and if he reckons it's still a goer, we might sort of slip in and have a crack at it. But yeah, so no, there's plenty of ewes still lambing, but it's not. If we were going to get sowing today, we'd have to wait for this fog to nick off, because it's not really spraying weather at the moment. So anyway, we'll keep looking around and keep getting these sheep fed, and make sure everything's happy. Little bloke there, I don't know if you can see him or not, he looks like he's been dipped in sump oil. We occasionally get a few different coloured. We did get the ewes or rams will throw a bit of black, so yeah, they're a bit cute. Yeah, these are the twin ewes. So yeah, same again, there's plenty of them on the ground, and they seem to be going pretty well. Lambs are growing. Alright, we're just here at the air seeder. Yeah, it's a cracking autumn day. So what Tony's been mucking around doing is we've actually, in the air cart, we've got a camera in each bin. It just helps to, especially with canola, they're pretty big bins, and you're only putting, you know, you might put 150 kilos in it each time. So generally only sow canola about 2.5 kilos to 2.5 to 3 kilos to the hectare. So you don't need a lot of seed to sow a fair area. So what we've done is, we've got a camera in each bin, and then we've just got a little screen here, and we can just keep an eye on how much seed we've got in the bin. But the camera just needs a wipe. It's not very clear at the moment, but yeah, hopefully that'll help just keep track of things a bit better. Also, this is the monitor that's playing up for whatever reason, and yeah, so we're trying to remedy that. But now that we know that it's not doing what it's supposed to be, we can keep a bit of a closer eye on it. But I know in the past, and I should have done it the other night, last year we just unplugged it and plugged it back in again, and away it went. So I should have probably done it the other night, and might have fixed it up a bit, might have got it to work. But anyway, so yeah, what we're going to do, I'm just going to clean the last of the vetch out of the air cart, and yeah, we'll chuck some canola in and get it calibrated. So we've actually been on to the guys in Elders, who are our ag suppliers, and we've going to change canola varieties, go to a shorter season. So yeah, we've just gone to a hybrid. It's a Clearfield variety, so 44 wide 94. Yeah, so we've got we can still probably graze this stuff, but as I said earlier, I'm just a bit concerned at the back end if we get a dry spring or something, trying with that other stuff being such long season, trying to get it to fill with grain at the end. Yeah, it might have been a bit of a concern. So what are we, Thursday today? Agro wants us to hold off till Monday, right there, worse luck. So I was keen to get going tomorrow, but with this sunny weather, we'll get a few weeds up and get a good kill on some weeds to start with, so that'll be good. Yeah, anyway, we'll get this job cleaned out and get it calibrated. Just show you guys the difference in the seed. So this is the vetch seed. It looks a bit like a small marble, I suppose, round, and it's actually got, well, you can see the orange seed is the clover seed that we've got mixed with it, but there's also a grey sort of, looks like a seed, looks pretty similar to the clover seed, but it's actually a pellet that for the inoculant for the legume. So it just helps, and I probably won't get this right, but it just helps the legume to, like the vetch is a legume, it just helps the legume nodulate, and basically it's putting natural nitrogen back into the soil for us. So but it just helps that plant nodulate, and hopefully later on in the year I can show you what the go is with that. But I've just got a bag of canola seed here, and it's a lot smaller. Like it's a little bit like the clover seed, I suppose, a fraction bigger. But I just happened to look on the little leaflet that comes with it. Yeah, you know, you're 165,000 seeds to the kilo. Yeah, so it's a lot of seeds. That's why we don't sow it as heavy as the cereals. And I don't know what the vetch would be. I'm just sort of, you know, guessing the vetch is, you know, it's probably 4, 5, 6 times the size of the canola seed. So this stuff's got an inoculant on it already, so it's got an insecticide on it just to help the bugs, stop the bugs from eating it as it's coming out of the ground. Yeah, so we'll tip a few bags in, but yeah, I had bit more than a couple of bags left in the bottom from the air seeder, so I've just had a couple of tubs here we help drain it out. Yeah, so we'll get a few bags of canola in, and then I'll tip that into the canola bags, and we've got a few butts of odds and ends of seed, so we need to have a bit of a mix up and just chuck them in somewhere just to sow them out of the road so the mice don't eat them in the shed. Tony's turned up with the truck, so he's just loading a bit of fertiliser into the seeder. I've just got this calibrating. You might be able to see that number. Just ticking away there slowly. So what we do is we enter in enter in what rate we want it to go at. So it works out about 2.3 with what seed we've got, kilos per hectare. And we hang a bag under the bottom of a metering unit, and then we just run through a calibration sequence in the screen. So basically it'll count out a weight or an estimated weight, and then we usually run it, when we're doing canola, we usually run about 3 kilos out, and cereals are about 10 kilos. Yeah, so we just run about 3 kilos out, stop it, weigh the bag, and then we just alter the difference, you know. So if we weigh 3 kilos out, then we might only actually physically weigh, you know, 2.3 kilos. Well, then we adjust it in the screen, and we keep doing that process until we get it pretty well spot on. You know, cereals that can be within like 100 grams or something like that, or a couple hundred grams, whereas the canola, because the rate's so small, we need to get in pretty close. So yeah, we sort of only like to have it within, you know, 40 or 50 grams, something like that. It's pretty accurate, this setup, but yeah, just whether this screen's behaving itself. You might be able to see the product there. I did give the camera a bit of a wipe. So we put 3 bags in, so put 60 kilos in. Yeah, and then we know how many hectares at, you know, 2.3 kilos. I should know that without getting the calculator out, but what have we got? It'll be 60 divided by 2.3. So we'll do about 25 or 6 hectares on what seed's in the box. So it's good to just not, you know, tip a heap in and then the rate being too high, like being wrong. But yeah, like this canola seed will be nudging $40 a kilo, so don't really want to waste it or put too much out if we can help it. So anyway, that's why we like to try and get it as accurate as we can. Come out for a look at canola stubble here. We've got a bit of an issue here, and it's been a bit of an ongoing one for a few years, and we've had a few goes at trying to fix it up. We've got a bit of a gully here, and the water comes down. It's just a natural sort of gully, comes down off the top of the hill there, and it keeps washing this area out. You can see, well, you might not be able to tell, there's a bit of a bank there. We got the laser bucket and tried to put some contour banks here just to try and slow the water down, but it's a real sandy, loose soil type here. And I haven't been game to do anything with this paddock until now. Like, we're probably a fortnight off, 3 weeks off sowing it. I didn't really want to roar in here and with a disc chain or the multi-disc or anything like that, because I was sort of a bit worried if we got a heavy downpour of rain, we'd have this same issue again. So a bit of a loss. We probably haven't got the time to sort of fix this up this year. So yeah, like, you could spend 2 or 3 or 4 days here on the laser bucket probably dragging the dirt back up. Our other option is we get a contractor in, which I might even do that, make a couple of calls and just see whether there's anyone around and anyone that'd be interested in coming and having a bit of a crack at it. But yeah, this paddock, it's got very rough, and it's just because of the soil type. So I'll just have a look. I've got Brendan to run across here with the multi-disc. We just had an area where we got badly bogged with the header at harvest time, and I just got him to run the multi-disc over it. But it's line ball whether we would sow through this stubble. Yeah, if you sort of watched on with the stubble one video I put up there the other day, you'll sort of have a bit of an idea of what I'm sort of talking about. But because this paddock's so rough, was thinking of we might give it a light tickle with the multi-disc just to level it out a bit and sort of reset it. Yeah, but we're just gonna we got rain again at the weekend. I'm just gonna let it go through and see what happens. Other issue that we've starting to see a bit of is Mickey Mouse and his mates are starting to appear, and they sort of love this sandier, easy digging country, because obviously it's easy to dig in. So yeah, we'll just have to monitor them when we get closer to sowing. But yeah, we're just there's a bit going on. Brendan's just at home now with the multi-disc. He's just where we're going to sow some new lucerne. He's just working a bit of bit of lime in. But yeah, we're going to have a quick look at yeah, the wheat that we sowed out here. I'm just out the dry block out the back here, so yeah, we're going to have a look at the wheat, and it should nearly be up out of the ground, hopefully. That's just where Brendan did a couple of runs with the multi-disc. You can see a bit of the difference there. Yeah, he did say it was quite rough hitting it on the angle with the tractor, so he's not. Yeah, he could probably, the paddock runs. Oh, we sow it that way, and he sort of just hit it on a Philly 45, so he could tighten the angle up a bit, so we're not quite straight. And yeah, probably lift it up a bit too. He's possibly going a bit deep. So anyway, we'll let this change go through on Monday, and then we'll make a bit of a decision then. We've probably got the time to do it, and now is probably the time to do it. So yeah, we'll just see how it pans out. This is some of the grazing wheat we sowed the other day, and yeah, you can probably see the green rose up there, so it's kicking along pretty well. Looks pretty happy. Doesn't appear like anything's eating it too much. So yeah, there's 10 or 11 mil of rain out here, and they're talking a bit more in a couple of days, another 10 or so. So that won't hurt out on here on this dry country. It'll give it a pretty good start. So this canola stubble, it got grazed pretty heavily with the sheep, and you can sort of see it smashed it up really well. So that's possibly something we should have probably done with the other canola stubbles, but there's not a lot of nutritional value in them. We just had a few dry sheep walking around on them, so knocking them about. So anyway, that might do for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da.